Welcome, everybody. Come in. Welcome to Zangel Digital Academy.
Welcome to Zangel Digital Academy, your go-to space for mastering Excel, Power BI, and the smartest digital tools to supercharge your productivity. In today's lesson, we are diving into real exam-style challenge that'll sharpen your spreadsheet skills and give you the confidence to take on your next practical with ease. If you're serious about leveling up in data, dashboards, and digital thinking, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and let's jump straight into it. So today we have an exam question. Obviously, if you're here, probably in grade 12, about to attempt or preparing for your final year exam. So we are focusing today on this video on question 3 of the November, what people call the CAT exam, which is Computer Application Technology, question 3, which was November 2024. So probably now you are preparing for 2025, or who knows, you might be, in the future, you're checking this out maybe in 2030. So I'm sure, as I know, Excel will never really change as much. But today we are then going to tackle this question, and it's basically focusing mostly on Spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is obviously from Excel, which is a Microsoft tool or a software which you can either use on your desktop, either a laptop, or as well as your mobile phone. But for today, we are actually focusing on Excel. So we have the question in front of us. So we'll go through it. So hopefully, where you are also working on your side. You have your laptop open and you're going step by step. So if I'm a bit fast for you, you can pause, you can then catch up. As well, you can fast forward, you can make my speed slow because we are not currently in a live call. So let's jump into it. So this is question 3. So it gives us a note before we start. So it's very important whenever you're going to tackle any exam or any question to first read what is being said to you so that you're clear what you need to do. Before we get into 3.1, the note says use formula and or functions for all calculations in the spreadsheet. So that's the most important thing. We need to use formulas or functions within Excel. And I'm sure at the school that you are or wherever you currently are, you could be a professional as well. It's either you've been taught fundamentals of Excel. So today we won't be really going into the fundamentals, but you can follow even if you're a beginner by just looking at the screen and seeing where I'm clicking, and then also click there as well. So yeah, we're not going to go into what functions are. There are other videos, by the way, in this same Zangel Digital Academy, which can go through many of our videos where we show you basic Excel and theories across various digital tools that are helping us being productive. As we know, in the future, from now, wherever you are, either in grade 12 or moving forward, you'll start using a computer and not much using pen and paper anymore. And Excel is going to be one of the powerful tools which will help us to calculate. The second point says use absolute cell references only where necessary to ensure that the formula are correct when you copy it to other cells in the spreadsheet. So we must make sure to use cell references as well. Then we need to insert a formula and a function in such a manner that the correct results will still be obtained even if values are changed in the existing data. So we're going to be looking at a data file that is also in the question, which we're being told to download. So before your exam, you'll get the download file, which then you need to do the steps in order to get to this Excel file. Should you need to, the next instruction says, should you need to use building blocks, use the space allocated for this in the spreadsheet data file. Also, it says Open the 3 sales spreadsheet that contains information about the most popular products sold by the Space Out shop during September 2024. So in the beginning of the main questionnaire, you would have seen how to download these files. So you probably also have the main questionnaire. If you don't, please download the main questionnaire or the main question paper that is from NCS, from the government, South Africa, and you will then be able to go and um, use the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet, it's called, or the Excel file, 3 sales Excel file. All right. So now we need to start with our first question, which is 3.1. So 3.1 says work in the target worksheet. So that's the first thing. We need to now go into the target worksheet. I've clicked on the target worksheet. I'm just going to go back to understand the full question. Move the target worksheet to a new workbook. So that's the first step. That's why we have 2 marks. We first have to move it and then save the new workbook as 3 target in your exam folder. So you have prepared an exam folder, but for this case, I'll save in one of my folders. Okay, we're gonna go into the target. So to move, you need to right click on your mouse. You need to press the right button, which then you'll see this pop up, and then we need to go to move or copy. Click on that. Now we need to say, so now currently we just want to hover, it's currently on questions, so you can over any of these. We want to go to target because we want to move target to a new workbook. So now it's currently on this workbook, but we want to, if you click there, you want to move it to a new workbook. Then immediately when you click on that, and you need to now say okay, and then Excel will automatically create another workbook, which will just appear with the target worksheet intact. All right, so now this is the new workbook. It's written book 1. So this new workbook, the second thing now, didn't tell us to calculate anything. We need to save this. So it's either you can click on the save button, or you can say Control S, or you can go to File and Save As. But I'll create save. All right, so I've saved this file. It says save to this PC or the folder. So let's go back now to our question. Now we're going back to the questions. So as you can see, this workbook, the 3 sales one, which we downloaded, now doesn't have the target sheet. So now we only have our questions, but yours won't have the questions. I've just inserted this just for us to see the questions in one place. So you'll probably just only have sales in the main file. All right, so the next one says, because we need to go through each of these to make sure that we are on the right track. So now we need to, it says insert a comment in cell A1 with the text popular. So now we are going to go to cell A, sales first, then we are going to go to cell A1. So we can see obviously cells are, the blocks. So we can go into cells 1. So currently, also you can see it says A1, although it's you would say it's merged, as you can see, but I still recognize it as cells A1. So now we need to insert a comment. In order to do that, we need to right click and go down the list and find where it says new comment. It says new comment. We click on new comment, and then we can press the new comment, and now we have our new comment which says popular. All right, so we've got our new comment over there. You can actually just save the comment as well, and then we go back and we see the next question. So next question, which is 3.3, it says in cell D3, insert a function in cell D3 to display the price of the cheapest product sold. So we're going to go into our sales and column D, just see column D, and then we want to go to D3. When we click there, you can always double check over there if it's the correct. So it is D3. So we go back D3. So now it says in D3, we need to insert, we need to actually check what is the cheapest product. So we also need to remember where the other columns that we're going to use are. So cheapest means from the data that we have here, I'm highlighting cheapest means it's price. It's not the cost, but it's the price of the product. So we're going to use this column to actually figure out which is the cheapest product. So we're going to go into D3 and we're going to insert. We're going to start with our formula equals. We're going to type min, which is min, which returns the smallest number in a set of values and ignores logical values and text. So we're going to say min. Then now we're going to go to, remember these are the products, now these are the prices over here. So we're only going to highlight the cells with the price. Starting from E10, you can click this and hold and drag down. And then as you drag down, Excel will move down. Right, so now we've selected E10 to E49. We can go back up. So I'm using my mouse roller button. You see in your mouse in the middle, you have your roller button. That's always nice to go up and down while you're using Excel. If you are not comfortable or advanced in using your keyboard only, and then now we're going to close our bracket. So you always have to close your bracket. And now over here in cell D3, we should now return the cheapest amount of a product, which is 26 rand. So from here we can always double check on our data by using our eye, but I mean it's tougher. So here we can see as the astronaut charm keychain, which is 26 rand. So that's where it is, but I mean we didn't use our eye, we used the power of Excel using a formula, and we've got the amount. And then the next one, we then want to go into question 3.4. Let's read the question. Insert a COUNTIF function in cell D5 to determine how many products have a delivery shipment method with a total cost of 1,000 Rand or more. So this is a condition which says, let's count, something, Mr. Excel, but only if the total cost is more, is the total cost of is 1000, which is equal to 1000 or more. So now we're going to go back. So I've spoken it in English, simple English. That's how actually the formulas and any coding actually works, although it's not English, but you can use that as patterns using the English, then use the formula, what the formula actually means. So we're going to go into D5, right? Then in D5 we're going to start with our formula, but also we need to remember what formulas or what columns we need to use. So going back to our question, it said we need to find insert of a function in D5 to determine how many products have a delivery method. So we're looking for a delivery method and then also products. So delivery method will be in G, and then also the cost. So we're also looking for cost, all right? So it's a total cost, which is then H. So which means we'll be working within our formula. We'll have a G references as well as H references. So you see, we use logic, used English, and then go back and to use the formula. All right. So we go back, we start our need to highlight the criteria. So the criteria is actually so here we're actually going to be using, I said count if, it's actually count if s, because I'm seeing now that our criteria is actually we need to have more in terms of our criteria. We need to have criteria and then the range. So similar, we're going to say criteria, our comma, and then now it's going to ask us for our criteria 1. So our criteria 1 should then, we said, should be delivery. So anything that has delivery. So in Excel, in order to be able to write a text, you need to open your double quotes and type in delivery. So that's our first criteria. So we selected and said, Mr. Excel, in this column, look for the criteria delivery. And then, because we want to determine the amounts of anything that is delivery and costs 1000 or more, right? That's the first criteria. So the next one, second criteria, which now Excel, after we put the comma, says criteria 2 or the range of the second criteria. The range of the second criteria will be the amount or the total cost. So we highlight those because now we only want to look at total costs that are only greater than 1,000 rand or are equal to 1,000 rand. So what I've done, I've selected my criteria range, then comma, then now Excel is asking me for the second criteria. So now I'm going to open my double quotes. Just before that, remember we said we're only looking for anything that is greater than or equals to 1,000 rand. We want to count how many of those. So right now we're gonna say we're gonna use our keyboard. There's this triangle thing facing where the mouth is facing the left, which is actually greater than. So we're going to start with if it's greater than or equals to. So if you're looking at my formula bar, this is where it's typing greater than or equals to. Now we're going to say 1,000. So meaning, and then we want to close our double quotes and our bracket. So once we're done, so our first range is count if anything is a delivery and is greater than or equals to 1,000. So there's actually only four products that have a total cost of 1,000 rand or more within our data file. So now we're helping Space Out Shop actually use these figures in a speedy way. As I mean, you would be an analyst fast forward in the future if you are doing data like this, which is what also this channel is mainly about, data analysts, or data, analysis or anything around data, Excel, and the digital world. So I know you might be now in grade 12, but you will need to stick around as you go into university. If you're doing accounting or any, like, there's also like business computer applications in university, as well as any type of computer that is or subject that is going to require Excel. So yeah, so from there we need to move on now to the next question, which is question 3.5. So question 3.5 says insert a combination of functions in cell A12 to create the receipt number for the Galaxy t-shirt product. All right, so here we need to do a couple of things. So we need to, in the receipt number, so the receipt number is created as follows: the day of the month on which the product was bought, followed by the first three letters of a product, followed by the @ sign and SO. So that's what we want to do in our question. All right, so we go back. So we need to go to cell A12. So column A, cell A12. So A12 is over there. So now what we need to do, we need to either use, so the first formula that I would suggest is equal day. So we're looking for day, and then we select day. And then from there, we're going to select B12, which is what's next to it, which is the date, the full date, but we want the day, so we select that. We close the bracket, and then we say and sign. And sign mean, okay, this is something else that we want to look at. So we want to say now left. We're going to say which returns a specific number of characters from the start of a text. So we first wanted the day, and then now we want the text. So we're going to go left, and then next we want to select C12. So if we go next, we want the Galaxy, which is C12. We select C12, and from here, what do we want from C12? So we want so if we say comma, the number of characters, we want 3 characters. So only 3, the G, A, and L. So now we're going to say 3. Then we close our bracket. And then next, we also want to add something else. Now we need to say and again. So now and then now we need to inverted commas. Remember, now we're not going to select anything. We need to add the @ SO sign and the SO. So we're going to go and do our @ and then also type SO. If you're looking at my formula bar on top, this is the full formula that we are going to be using. And then we want to close. Okay, we actually needed to open double quotes before the @ sign. And then over here as well, enter. And now we have something similar to the other cells. So if you had started this from scratch, you could actually drag it down or apply the same formula to the next to kind of like the next cell. So if it has extracted the first day, which is first gal at SO. So now we've got our full marks for the question 3.5. Okay, the next question is 3.6, which says insert a formula in cell F11 to calculate the total VAT of 15% payable on the price of the product sold. So we need to go to F11, column F, then row 11. It's there, it's already nicely colored. Then if we go there, now we need to enter our formula. We need to start with equals, then we're going to select D11. So D11 is actually the quantity. So the quantity, then we need to say times, which is the star in your computer. Now we need to say times the price, because now we need to get the price. But if we did this, it was going to give us the full value, but now we need to also apply that. So we also need to say times 15%. So we only want the percentage of that price. Then when we say enter, it's actually now giving us the VAT amount, meaning 15% of that price of times 2 in terms of the quantity. And now we actually have our answer correct. All right. And then next, we need to then look at the last question, which is 3.7. Now we need to apply a spreadsheet feature to column G to display all cells with a yellow background fill where the shipment method is the same as the selection made in cell H3. So here we need to look at cell H3, what's happening, then also look at column G. So we need to go back. So let's first look at H3. So H3, that's H3. So here it actually has these selections. Currently it's selected in store. So if you select, it actually changes. It's kind of like a drop down. So we're gonna go back to install. So we need to look at go back to our question, column G. So everything in column G, which is this, so it's similar. So what actually this means in simple English, as you saw here, there's 3 selections, and this whole data, whenever I have a certain selection there, I want any cell that has the same text to be highlighted in yellow. So to do that, we need to then do a conditional formatting. So what we're gonna do then, we're then gonna go back and actually, so once we selected our cells, we actually now gonna go on to format, conditional formatting, and apply a new rule. So we want to go down where it says use a formula to determine which cells to use. So what we want to do right now, we want to say, so use a formula, and then actually we want to say equals G10, which is where it starts. So it will literally go down on itself, equals if G10 is equals to, gonna lock the, the column number H or the letter, and also lock the number 3. So if G10 is equal to that or any other cell going down, please, Mr. Excel, format it in yellow. Then after that, we wanna press OK and OK again, and voila. So now everything that is in store currently is in yellow. So let's see if it changes. So if you go back here, if we select collection, everything now you see in store is not it's not colored. Everything that is collection is. Then let's also try the one that says delivery. It's everything that is delivery, and now it's working perfectly. And now we've done and got all our marks for our cat question 3, paper 1. All the best for your exam. Hopefully you're going to stay around and check out all the other Excel files or Excel tutorials as you move forward, and stick around for any digital productivity tools that you need. As you know, computer will be number 1 in the future. Cheers.